You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
It started like any other episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, but it didn't stay that way. Joe Rogan, the guy known for his tough questions, strong opinions, and fearless interviews, was shaken to his core. This time, it wasn't about politics. It wasn't about fighting or aliens or comedy. It was about something far more real, something painful, something that couldn't be ignored any longer.
So many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So.
He had just finished watching a clip only a minute long, but that clip would change how he viewed the music industry forever. And at the center of it all was Justin Bieber, a kid who had the world in the palm of his hand at just 15 years old. But behind the lights, behind the sold-out shows, behind the screaming fans, something darker was going on, and Joe Rogan had the receipts. This is the story of what really happened to Justin Bieber when he was placed in the hands of Sean Diddy Combs.
And good luck when you're older. You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person. Yeah. But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there were so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I own.
That stuff's not going to matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick, and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, you know, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like, things that money offers, right?
Justin Bieber didn't just appear one day on stage, he was discovered. A small town boy from Canada with a huge voice and even bigger dreams. YouTube videos of him singing got noticed. Scooter Braun found him, and then came Usher, and then came Diddy. People said Diddy was going to take Justin to the next level, that he could show him the ropes, that he knew the business and could turn Bieber into the biggest star on the planet. And to some extent, they were right. But at what cost?
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we become friends in a strange way, you know?
Like Robin Big.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
I'm Big and you're Robin.
Yeah. I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
On a resurfaced clip, Diddy was seen bragging that he had Justin with him for 48 hours. He called it mentorship, but the way he said it made a lot of people uncomfortable, even back then. "I've been given custody of him for the next 48 hours, Diddy said on camera, smiling. He joked that what they were doing was a 15-year-old's dream, but never explained what that meant. No real details, just vague comments about where they were going, what they were doing, and how much fun they were having.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah,
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you tried to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
Yes. Okay.
5555.
Okay. 55. You heard that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure. 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
It didn't sound like regular mentorship. It sounded like isolation, like control. And then Diddy compared it to when he had guardianship over Usher as a teen too. That part sent chills down Joe Rogan's spine. Joe didn't want to believe the rumors, but once he saw the documents, the footage, and the emotional toll it took on Justin Bieber, he couldn't stay silent. He had a stack of court documents on his podcast desk, contracts, flight records, hotel bills. None of it made sense unless you knew what you were looking at. One paper was especially hard for Joe to read. It was a handwritten note from Justin. He had written it at age 15, asking if he could go home early. He said the trip was too intense. The schedule was too much. He missed his mom. He didn't feel right. It was the handwriting that broke Joe. This is a kid just trying to breathe, Rogan whispered, tears in his eyes.
He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion.
I always say this about Justin Bieber. When people hear about him going insane, like, of course he's going insane. You have no idea what it would be like to be him and to be 17 years old. And girls literally trying to break into his house. They're coming down chimneys. They're flying in on parachutes. They're doing anything they can. They just want to be around him. You want him to be normal?
Oh, man, poor guy.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio, and who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Yeah, rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, "Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one?" And he was like, "Let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out." So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, with a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
You were all sitting in a room somewhere.
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of manager he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man.
But what really turned Joe from shocked to furious was the footage. A hallway camera at a private estate, an estate rented under one of Diddy's shell companies, caught Bieber walking down a hallway at 3:12 a.m. No stage in sight, no fans, just two assistants walking close behind him like guards. He had his guitar in his hands, his head was down, and through the door of one room, the camera caught a glimpse of a whiteboard. Joe's producer zoomed in. At the top, in red letters, full immersion. Weekend underneath were strict rules. Vocal drills until dawn, no personal phone use, sleep limited to 4 hours, no outside calls except with approval. There was no mention of music lessons, no theory, no fun. It wasn't training, it was control. Joe couldn't believe what he was seeing. "This is not how you mentor a teenager," he said, shaking his head. On Instagram not long ago, Justin Bieber shared a long post about his past. He didn't mention Diddy, but he talked about being pushed too hard, being famous too young, doing things he didn't want to do, struggling to breathe under the pressure. He said he was now trying to find peace, that he was working on his faith, that being married to Hailey helped him feel normal again.
We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. Great job. And for his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
Anyways, I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow, I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. All right, now it's time to...
But he also said something else. That fame as a child broke something in him. And now with the documents in front of him, Joe finally understood what that meant. Once the podcast went live, phones started ringing. Other artists called in. People who had worked in the music industry said they had seen the same patterns. Promises of mentorship, but then long nights, tight controls, weird house rules, and silence. Many of them were scared to speak up, but seeing Joe Rogan cry gave them courage, and slowly the stories started coming out. One former assistant said she saw Justin being told not to call his mom. Another said Diddy would host focus weekends where no one was allowed to leave. No phones, no managers, just him, the team, and the talent. Joe listened to each story with growing disbelief. How did this go on for so long? He asked. As the episode went viral, the effects were immediate. Major companies pulled ads from Diddy's old videos. A sneaker company canceled its limited edition collab with him. Streaming services flagged certain music for internal review. Suddenly, Diddy wasn't a legend anymore. He was a liability, and it all started because one brave man, Joe Rogan, refused to stay quiet. Before ending the show, Joe looked into the camera and made a direct plea to the entertainment world. If you saw something, now's the time to say something. Don't protect fame, protect kids. He said silence only makes things worse, and that protecting young talent has to be more important than protecting someone's legacy. He also promised that the money made from that episode would be donated to mental health programs and artist protection groups. Success should open doors, he said, not lock people in. Near the end of the episode, Joe read from a therapist's report filed during one of Justin's legal evaluations. It described the pop star's early career as emotionally overwhelming. It said he was stuck in a cycle of extreme schedules, no rest, and deep anxiety. The therapist said Justin showed signs of isolation and pressure at a young age, things that could take years to recover from. Joe set the papers down, wiped his eyes, and spoke directly to the camera. "This wasn't guidance," he said. "This was control." Since the episode aired, more people have come forward. More stories, more documents, more truth. People are finally looking back at Diddy's history with young artists and asking serious questions. Why did so many of them burn out? Why did so many of them disappear? And why did no one speak up until now? The answer is clear: fear, power, control. But now that silence is cracking. And Joe Rogan made sure of it. Through it all, one person has quietly stood tall: Justin Bieber. He's no longer a scared 15-year-old. He's a husband, a believer, a survivor. And even though he hasn't gone into detail publicly, he's found his way to healing. He uses his music to tell the truth, his faith to guide him, and his voice to connect with millions. And maybe, just maybe, the worst of his past can now help protect someone else's future. This story isn't just about one pop star or one music mogul. It's about a system that let power go unchecked. It's about how money and fame can hide the truth, but it's also about how truth always finds a way to come out. Joe Rogan didn't plan to cry that day, but sometimes the truth hits harder than anything else, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. What happened to Justin Bieber should never happen to anyone again. Let's make sure it doesn't. This story isn't just about one pop star or one music mogul. It's about a system that let power go unchecked. It's about how money and fame can hide the truth, but it's also about how truth always finds a way to come out. Joe Rogan didn't plan to cry that day, but sometimes the truth hits harder than anything else, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. What happened to Justin Bieber should never happen to anyone again. Let's make sure it doesn't.